Steve Schnall and Jeff Schemmel with another AD update, and we'll start first with baseball and some of the other spring sports that are in high gear already.
Well, they are. Baseball had a good start to their season. Went up to Compton, a game that was a couple games that were actually televised on national television, and it was really a neat affair with urban youth in Compton, and played 2 games there, split, one win over Bethune-Cookman and a loss to Southern. I went to the Southern game, and it was a very good game, well played and well pitched. And then came home yesterday, and I think the highlight of the weekend, obviously, a 3-0 shutout win over 11th ranked University of San Diego. And I think we might have found another pitcher to complement what we already know is a great staff led by Steven Strasburg. And that win was a good one for us yesterday, but we get right back at it actually tomorrow night, right back here. So I know everybody's excited about baseball. Water polo had a very good weekend in Irvine at their invitational. Beat Michigan, beat Arizona State, I believe, and also San Jose. So they had a very good week.
Women's tennis had a great win against Arizona.
A great win over Arizona, and men's and women's golf are playing very well. In fact, they're playing this week in their own invitationals at different areas. So it's we're gearing up, Steve. It's time. It's spring sports. It's fun.
And we just came off the second annual night with the Aztecs, which honestly, with it only being 2 years in the book, 2 great nights for San Diego State and for athletics and fundraising some money at the same time.
Well, it was a great night, and that's a tribute to Danny Burrell and the staff in our fundraising unit, Bob Moosberger and Joy Francis and Michelle McBride and Sherry Bertram. They did a great job. I think we were worried, quite frankly, about the economy particularly and what might happen with an auction like that. And we had a bigger crowd than we had a year ago, and I thought anyone who was there that night, the excitement and the energy and having people like Marshall Falk and Fred Dreyer and Don Coryell, it was a pretty special night for all of us, and raised a lot of money. I think our preliminary numbers are well over $100,000.
And it is not quite March Madness, but I'm calling it Freaky February. We have a very big game with BYU on Tuesday. That's critical.
Well, we have 2 big games against BYU on Tuesday. One,
that's exactly what I meant.
The women go to BYU, and that's a big game for them. They've got the reverse of the men. They've got 3 of their last 4 on the road, and the men have 3 of their last 4 at home. And I know the big win over New Mexico on Saturday by the women was a great step in the right direction, and they're battling for a championship. Really, 3 teams now that are in the hunt for the women's championship: Utah, TCU, and San Diego State. And BYU is a huge game on the road there. And of course, we all know the men play. They're tied for 2nd place with BYU, and play a huge game tomorrow night in Cox Arena. And hopefully, we'll fill that place up and help us get another victory.
The game is 7:30, just in case people were wondering, and there are still tickets available, although it will be a very crowded house on Tuesday night.
It will be, Steve. I've seen a ticket report today that's showing the tickets are going fast.
Yes. And let's talk a little bit about football. I know they're just getting underway with their workouts, both downstairs in the facility, but also outside. What are you seeing early on with this football staff and the current football team?
Well, I think 2 things. One is things are a lot different, and you expect that from a new staff. Every staff has a way of doing things that's different than another staff. But I think there's some dramatic changes that the kids are seeing. I think what I notice is the intensity that's coming, particularly out of morning workouts, whether that's outside running or whether that's in the weight room. You can feel and hear a lot of energy coming out of that room these days, and I know I talked with Brady Hoke today, and I know he's very pleased with how the kids have reacted to these changes and probably the differences that they brought to the weight room particularly. So I think we're all very excited to see that first spring practice.